Hi. I just wanted to show you guys this. I had somebody arguing with me about watts and kilowatt hours. Okay. And if you look at the graph on the right, it shows you the watts. Okay. And your kilowatt hour is your watts per hour. Okay. And the guy said, well, you don't know the difference between watts and kilowatts. Well, if you take on here, it's a little bit over 4,000 watts usage during my higher usage times. Okay. And that goes up and down, and as you can tell, we didn't have much sunlight yesterday. The yellow is our solar produced. I mean, it spiked up and down and, didn't do very steady. But you get over here in the blue and, you can tell when I have the car plugged in, it sucks up the most electricity. And that's normally running between 4,000 to 5,000 when I have that plugged in. We have other items that come on and off. This is our heater. Each room has a heater, and our heaters will kick on for a few minutes and then shut back off. And here it is this morning, same thing. And during the night, when the car's charged up, we don't have that high stuff like over here. Well, I had somebody who I guess is from overseas arguing about watts and kilowatts. And a kilowatt hour is your appliances, and it don't matter if you're 230 or 240, 60 or 50 hertz. Your high demand items, heating elements, like our car, and your hot water heaters, your air con, all that stuff is going to jump your bill up a lot. We have a house in the Philippines. We've had it for 10 years. When we run the air con, it does the same thing. Our air con over there is not a newer model. It's an older model. We put it in, the one we currently have there is probably 8 years old. And so it does this also. And when we're not there, the people that are staying at the house, they don't run the aircon. Okay. There is no magical international type of aircon or heating elements that do it cheaper than here in the US. So stuff like that does spike your energy bill. And a kilowatt hour is basically 1,000 watts per hour. Okay, so it's no different no matter where you are in the world. And this guy said, oh, well, I'm not in the US, I'm somewhere else. Well, it don't matter. Okay, it's still the same. You're going to have higher draw items. I said, well, you must have natural gas or propane that you're heating with and doing stuff like that. And the guy told me, no. He goes, we get all these government incentives. He said he has solar, but he had somebody else install it. He only has 5,850 watts worth of solar panels. And he's sitting there saying that they produce 6 million watts per year. Well, it should be higher than that. And I told him he should monitor it himself. That way he would get a more accurate reading. He's letting the power company do it. He said he gets incentives and it covers 100 to 150% of what he uses. Well, that's kind of false. If you sit there and you go for your daily usage, okay, and I'm using natural gas here, okay, if you sit there and you do your daily usage and sit there and, okay, I use 39.5 kilowatt hours, so 39,500 watts of electricity yesterday. And it was cold, so the heaters have come on a lot more yesterday than they did the day before. This is a warmer day where it says 30.6. Okay, that's just the car. And some of the solar input numbers are off, and that's just the way it is because I have inverter that's doing battery charge only. So, but if you look in like this number here, I think I had the inverter, you know, I had everything shut down and I was doing, you know, so this day's wrong. And on the warmer days, the usage is a lot less, even with the car. But it's I'm not trying to say that I heat my water or cook or any of that stuff with electricity, but you sit there and you add up all these numbers for the month and you end up with a lot. And I don't know how much it would be, but it's going to be way in excess of 6 million watts per year. And there's no magical numbers that work in Europe or anywhere else in the world with 230 volts and 50 hertz. It just don't happen. So to the people that viewed our argument and made comments, well, it's different there. You know, it's really not. During March, I used 661 kilowatt hours. Okay. During April, I used 927 kilowatt hours. That's 927,000 watts. I am by far in excess of any of the numbers the guy was saying, and I don't heat my water, and I don't use the dryer. Okay, that's all done with gas. So how the guy can do his whole home on less than 6 million watts per year, he's given you, the information he was trying to say is false. He's like, oh, you don't know the difference between watts and kilowatt hours. Well, if you run, say, 4,000 watts, go back to the first chart. Okay. So right here is 4,000. I'm running a little bit over 4,000 watts on a steady basis during my high demand times. Well, you do 4,000 watts, that's 1 hour and 12 minutes per kilowatt hour. So during this time here, for every hour, you only get an hour and 12 minutes. And actually, that's actually higher, so probably only an hour during those times. Okay, so one of my 5 kilowatt hour batteries, I drain that in 1 hour when I'm charging my car. Okay, if I was cooking and doing air con and all of that at the same time, you can see where my air con spikes up. Or actually, it's the heater. Okay, you can see those really tall spots in the blue. that's when my heaters kick on. They only kick on for a minute or two. This is a very well insulated house. Our house in the Philippines is different. It's not insulated. We don't have thermal pane windows. And our use of electricity when we're running the air con over there, it's like constant. Our refrigerator, it uses like 1,500 watts per hour. That's 1.5 kilowatt hour. And that thing runs constant. You know, and people open and close it, and that keeps it running. At night, it might shut down for a little bit at a time, but mostly the fridge over there is running constantly. And for somebody to say, oh, you don't understand, it's 230 volts, 50 hertz over here, so it's different. No, your high demand items still use a bunch of electricity. I'm just putting this out there. So those people that viewed the argument and said, oh, well, you don't know what it's like there. Well, his usage is way off. It should be a lot higher, especially if he's not using propane or natural gas. So anyways, I just wanted to, and we've been paying a bill over in the Philippines, which is 230 volts and 50 hertz. And our bill goes up every time we're over there because we turn the AC on the whole time. Anyways, we just wanted to put this out there. That way people that did see that argument and came on my channel could see the difference. And they would understand what I'm talking about. Thank you. And please like, comment, and subscribe.